ashes, and you might be surprised. The people in this world are getting organized. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. There's people of every nation marching side by side, marching across these fields where a million fascists died. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Sing it. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Race hatred cannot stop us. This one thing I know, your poll tax and Jim Crow greed, they have got to go. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Singing. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. I'm going into this battle before this union gets undone. We'll end this world of slavery before this battle's won. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Sing it. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Come on. Come on. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw below me a golden valley. This land was made for you and me. The sun comes shining as I was strolling, the wheat fields waving, the dust clouds rolling, the fog was lifting, and a voice came chanting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and that sign said, no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. Now that side was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. One more verse. It's a good one. In the squares of the city, in the shadow of the steeple, near the relief office, I see my people. And some are grumbling, and some are wondering if this land's still made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Come on, that's right. A little song from Woody Guthrie. Thank you for your beautiful comments. Thank you for arriving here tonight to our first Live Online with Heatherlyn of 2021. We get to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tonight. We get to celebrate the inauguration today, thankfully. And I also want to acknowledge in singing, this land is your land, this land is my land. Let's also recognize that even though I am coming from a place called Denver, Colorado, and you are watching from wherever you are watching from, this land also belonged to indigenous peoples. And so I come to you not only from Denver, Colorado, but I come to you from lands where the Cheyenne people and the Arapaho and the Ute and another tribe that I need to learn how to pronounce their name correctly. So I'm not gonna attempt it and butcher it. But I would love it if you let me know where you are watching from, and perhaps you would like to look up the native land territories on which you live. So you can do that at native-land.ca. And let me know. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, where you're watching from, and perhaps not just your town or your city, but let us know what native lands you live on. All right. Hey, Sue, good to be with you too. And Denise and Carl and Mark and Amy and Doug. Awesome. And hey, Amber, good to see you. And I saw Steve Floyd here as well, which is really cool because I'm hearkening back to some days with my work with Peace Jam, which I'll talk about more a little bit later. But tonight, not absolutely everything is inspired by Dr. King. Not every element, but generally speaking, his heart, his vision, his dream, his legacy. And let's be real here. I'm a white woman. I have a lot to learn about Dr. King and this dream. And I have a lot to learn about the work of racial justice and collective liberation. And I want to keep learning. And as much as you're willing to come on that journey with me, you are very welcome to do so. So that is why I've included some show notes tonight. I wanted to share a few quotes with you that are powerful to me personally, and I'll share with you why as we go along here. And just encourage us. I know a lot of us here are white folks, and you know, it's just the truth that we do not know what it is like to be a BIPOC person. We don't know that. We can never know that. Our perspective will forever and always be limited and incomplete, and that is why we need each other. That is why we need the voices of others in our lives. We need BIPOC voices in our lives. So later on, I'll also give you an update on our Story Dwelling series and our first Story Dwelling edition in February, which is with a really incredible Black woman who does the work of truth and conciliation. So I'm excited for that. All right, Doug calls shotgun on the journey. Damn, that is awesome. I'm down. That is really cool. All right, so a couple of songs tonight were directly influenced, inspired by the work of Dr. King, so I'll share that with you as we go along. I've also selected a few songs that are written by contemporaries of him, singer-songwriters who were not only artists, they were activists, and they were voices of their people. And so I'm excited to share with you this Curtis Mayfield song called People Get Ready. And Curtis was one of those folks. He played a crucial role in transforming Black popular music into a voice for social concern during the struggle for civil rights. And so I want to honor this contemporary of Dr. King tonight. I don't know if they had any relationship, but they were part of what was happening in that time in our history. And so I'm glad we're doing this now too, because so many people only focus on Black history in the month of February, but Black history is an essentially American history. So here's this great song, People Get Ready. And of course, please feel free to sing along at home if you know this. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. So people get ready, there's a train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key, open up the doors and board them. There's hope for all of us, from the least to the most. Could there even be room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all humankind just to save his own? Have mercy on me when my chances grow thinner, for there's no hiding place from the light of love and grace. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. So people get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. No, you don't ticket. You just thank the Lord. That's right. Give it up for showing up with gratitude, showing up with open hearts, ready to get on that train of racial justice and collective liberation. It is on its way. We are about this work. It is clearly not finished, right? Today we celebrate that there is no longer a fascist in the White House, and his bully pulpit has been removed, and we are grateful. Also, too many people voted for him, right? And so there's clearly work to be done to learn perhaps even just some basic civics lessons, I think, about how you define a fascist. That's not just like petty name calling, right? It's not. It's speaking the reality that we're living in. It's speaking the truth about that. And always the truth does set us free. When we can acknowledge, for example, like I mentioned before, I as a white person will never fully know. I can empathize, I can listen. I will never fully know what it is to be a BIPOC person and to live with a different color of skin. And acknowledging that truth sets me free to just learn and to listen and to sit back and to stay in my lane. And that is life-giving and liberating, and that is a part of what it means to love well, I believe. So, yes, Curtis Mayfield, so good. People get ready. I did create a playlist for you all tonight, a YouTube playlist, so I hope you'll check that out in the show notes. I've linked that up. And feel free to enjoy that afterwards. It's songs of it's the cover songs, but you can hear the different artists singing them. Most of them, the original artists, and a couple of songs of mine I don't have on there, but you can always listen back to this as well. All right. Keep chatting it up. I'm seeing some of your comments as I'm, multitasking here. Teresa, thank you for that beautiful thought. You've taught my heart so much as well. So, here we are to learn together, right? Okay. So I'd like to sing my song, One Heart. And this is kind of a nod of my head to these calls for unity and healing, which are good and right as long as we are about the due process of healing, because healing is like painful sometimes, right? It's surgery sometimes, Sometimes I feel like the healing and unity that people are calling for is really just like a Band-Aid to cover things up. And that never works, right? Because if we just cover it up and ignore it, then it could be this infection that just festers beneath the surface. And so true healing does the hard work of feeling the pain, going in, cutting out the infection or washing it out or whatever. The reality of our non-separateness just is, right? And so I'd like to share with you this quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, "In a real sense, all life is interrelated. All men, and we could add women, non-binary folks, all of us are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality." And so I believe acknowledging this reality, we are actually all interconnected. We are interdependent. And acknowledging that means we do the work to make that healthy and productive. And acknowledging that when one is free, we all are free. And when one is not free, we are not all free. So that is, I think, leaning towards a picture of true unity and being about the work of it. So, cheers, my friends. Cheers to a new year. Cheers to a new chapter. There's a thread that's holding our hearts, suspended in the atmosphere. It can take a little while for some of us to get the direction clear. But once in a while I can recognize a heart undeniably connected to mine. We are one heart. We are one heart. Of all that's whole and complete, you and I are each a part. Perceived by the kind and wise, they show the good we do for someone else is best for our own selves. But once in a while you might feel all alone, then please reach out your hand to me. I hope that I can show. Whole and complete, you and I are each a part. One heart. We are one heart. Of all that's whole and complete, you and I are each a part. Being so interrelated and interconnected and interdependent, we cannot deny that that means we have a responsibility one to another. Yes? All right. I actually put the capo on the wrong fret for that song, my friends, so that was an interesting experience for me. Just a little behind the scenes for you. Thank you so much, Carl, for becoming a patron. Welcome to the patron community. Thank you for being a part of our work. All of you who are here and who support either through Patreon or other ways, you are, oh man, you are life to us. You are love to us, so that we can do this work. And as you can see, the work that Jason did. So give some love to Jason tonight. He created these graphics. So I think I told you maybe one time that with Ecamm Live, we knew there was more we could do, but we just had to learn And so we were hoping that we could share with you a little bit more of what's possible with this broadcasting software made possible by our patrons. All right, here is a song by Hosier, who did this as a duet with Mavis Staples, who of the Staples Singers. She is an amazing inspiration to me, and I hope if you don't know her music, you'll check out Mavis Staples and check out this song in the playlist that I created for you. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It is the grounding of a foot uncompromising. It's not foregoing of the lie, it's not the opening of the eyes. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the shade, we should be past it. It's the light and it's the obstacle that casts it. It's the heat that drives the light. It's the fire it ignites. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the song, it is the singing. It's the heaven of the human spirit ringing. It's the bringing of the line. It's the bearing of the rhyme. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry, power, 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 Lord. Nina cried power, Aretha cried power, Mavis cried power. Cry, power, 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 Lord. Curtis cried power, Marley cried power, Nina cried power. It's not the war, but what's behind it. Or the fear of fellow men is a mere assignment. And everything that we're denied by keeping the divide. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry, power, 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 Lord. Maya cried power, Lenin cried power, James Brown cried power. I could cry, power. Power has been cried by those stronger than me, straight into the face that tells you to rattle your chains if you love being free. Oh Lord, I could cry, power, power, 'cause power is my love, when my love reaches to me. Sam Cooke cried power, Seeger cried power, Amanda Gorman cried power, James Brown cried power, Millie cried power, Patty cried power, Billy power, Dylan power, Woody power, Nina, she cried power. It's a good one. I tell you what, I've put that on with Hosier and Mavis Staples a number of times and just danced around in this little room here just to make it through. Yay, I love the little welcoming and celebrating each other. That's really cool. All right, so y'all, I would love to hear kind of your introduction to MLK, if you feel like chatting about it a little bit in the comments. I remember when I first read Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, I was 12 or 13 years old. I can't quite remember. It was the year that my mom and I was raised by a single mom in the state of Maine. And it was around that time, about 12 or 13, that we decided to take a road trip together. It was the time when AAA created triptychs. I don't know if any of you remember these, but they were like little pamphlets. They were long, skinny pamphlets with a binder at the top, and you'd flip them, and they would be kind of like the close-ups that we see now on our phones with Google Maps or whatever. And so these were actually, you could apply to AAA for these triptychs that would guide you step by step. So just me and my mom in our little car, and we drove down to Maryland to visit with my mom's friend Carol. Incidentally, my mom's one black friend, because we were from the Northeast. And in Carol's house, she had a poster printed out of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, and I had never heard it before. And in fact, this was the time in my life when I was in a very insular, conservative environment. I was even going to a Christian academy. And so that sort of environment tells you that everyone needs to be the same, right? It's kind of a colonialist mindset. Like everyone's supposed to look and act the same to be like right. And but my little heart opened wide when I read Dr. King's words about his children, his dream of sitting around the table of, we'll call it kindredhood. He said brotherhood, but we'll make it gender inclusive. That one day the sons and daughters, the children of slaves and the children of slave owners, the descendants of both, would sit around this table of kindredhood and would enjoy that together, and that no one would be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And my spirit rose. Like, I wanted to live in a world like that and help create a world like that. Incidentally, during that trip, we also visited the Holocaust Museum. So my youthful mind was starting to be exposed to narratives like what happens when it's a fascist government, or what happens when, the government does shit like that. So that was my first introduction to Dr. King. And over the years, there have been different points where his work has powerfully influenced me. And so I wanted to share, I have a couple songs tonight that are inspired directly by him. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. Doug, I love that you just said power back to the people. That is right, man. That is right. Yes. Okay. So I wrote this song, Put On Your Climbing Shoes, a while ago. And in it, I mentioned things like forgiveness. And at the time, I was more thinking in the realm of diversity and inclusion and racial reconciliation. I wasn't fully yet aware that it's more about truth and conciliation. And the forgiveness that I mentioned isn't like actually me demanding that Black people forgive white people. It's actually more about, me needing to forgive myself for my ignorance so that I can just move on, forgive myself for my ignorance and not wallow in shame, but proceed with learning and listening and cultivating empathy. So I wanted to share you one of the harder to swallow quotes of MLK, because one of the critiques and frustrations I frequently hear from my friends of color and my Black friends is that white people are so good at quoting, the things that Dr. King says about love and brotherhood, and sometimes, and just really forgets all of the very challenging things he said about capitalism and capitalistic exploitation, and that he was about wanting to eliminate racism and all forms of classism and socioeconomic prejudice, bias, and injustice. He also wanted to eradicate militarism. which is, really interconnected with capitalism and all of this. So here's one quote from Where Do We Go From Here? His last book in 1967. Incidentally, the book that his daughter, Bernice King, recommends. And she probably recommends all of it, but she recently posted something about check the one out, the last one he wrote. And so this is in your show notes if you want to check it out later. So he says, whites, it must frankly be said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance. It is an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn. Loose and easy language about equality, resonant resolutions about brotherhood fall pleasantly on the ear, but for the Negro there is a credibility gap he cannot overlook. He remembers that with each modest advance, the white population promptly raises the argument that the Negro has come far enough. Each step forward accents an ever-present tendency to backlash. So on days like Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I made sure to post some quotes that implicate me as a white person, right? Because I believe that is also my salvation. These things that are said, they are truth and love. I am ignorant. Like I said earlier, there are some things I will never know as a white person. And so I believe it is a lifelong journey to learn to be about this work. And that sets me free to keep going and do the work. What implicates me also saves me and frees me. So that is my offering to you as well, that this is not to be shaming, because shaming holds us back and binds us and keeps us down. But rather, it's just an honest look. Like, yeah, I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot of work to do. So let's just do it, right? Let's not stay in the shame of it. Okay, I'll do a song now. Put on your climbing shoes. And as I was creating the playlist for this, it was really fun because I found an old live recording of this with a band. And so I am just delighted that is. So Mark, you're saying it's amazing how our conception of music and song changes as we mature and grow as humans. Indeed. Yeah, as long as we have a growth mindset, I guess that can be true of so much, right? And the more life that you live, your story develops, and so the meaning that you make of a song is always evolving, right? And I think that's why, 3 minutes on repeat, you come back to a song and it can mean something totally new and different. It's really, really, really freaking beautiful. All right, so I need you to snap along at home. I need you to sing along at home. Oh, we have a let's see. I'm not sure what to call you. RTO, Dean MP, back about 79 on the Trip Max. Yeah, maps. We've come so far with maps and navigation, haven't we? Yeah. I miss them too, Toby. Okay. And a 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 'em on, get ready. 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 Set out on this journey, my friends and kindred, with provisions of love, grace, and forgiveness. With conviction, we are all intrinsically connected, with so much in common and with beautiful difference. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. Keep on climbing, we'll never stop. through streams, press on and push against the wind. Take my hand, build trust, know my friend, you'll help me up. Sometimes we'll run and hurdle, sometimes we'll trip and stumble over rocks and crags, steep passageways. Love will lift us. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. Keep on climbing, we'll never stop. It's your part again, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 'em on, get ready. 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 Yeah, yeah. Here's my favorite verse. And when stormy clouds are covering the summit view, remember how rainbows come into bloom. Storm cloud showers, thunder and drenching rain collide with sunshine, rays of light, two ribbons of colorful change. Put on your climbing shoes, put on your climbing shoes, put on your shoes, take me with you to the mountain top. Keep on climbing, we'll never stop. Yeah, keep on hiking and we'll scale the heights. Keep on walking, walk by faith, not by sight. Ooh, put on your shoes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put 'em on, get ready. 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 Hey, hey. One man come in the name of love. One man come and go. One man come, he to justify. One man to overthrow. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. One man crawled on a barbed wire fence. One man he resist. One man washed on an empty beach. One man betrayed with a kiss. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. Early morning, April 4. Shot rings out in the Memphis sky. Free at last, they took your life. They could not take your pride. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. Yes, a little you too. That's also in the playlist that I made for you all. About 8 years ago, Jason and I took a trip to Memphis. I had a gig there. And while we were there, we visited the Lorraine Hotel, and we visited the Civil Rights Museum there. And it was really powerful for me. It felt like a little bit of a pilgrimage, since I had actually already written this next song, We Have a Dream, and Put on Your Climbing Shoes. Those were both inspired by Dr. King's mountaintop speech, the very final address that he delivered in Memphis the night before he was assassinated. And, he was there to march with sanitation workers. And this is where he talks about love that's really badass, right? And this is what I've said so many times before, that when I speak of the power of love, sometimes it's true and real and genuine, and it is a great and deep and soulful delight to love, to be in love, to live with love and in love. And sometimes it's so hard and so fierce. And in his mountaintop speech, which I also included in the playlist for you to listen to if you want to, he speaks of a dangerous unselfishness. He talks about how, looking at going to march with the sanitation workers and standing up for equal rights and good pay, the question is not what will happen to me if I will do this, but what will happen to the sanitation worker if I don't do it. And I just love that. I love how he flips that stuff. Okay, so here is another song. Dr. King inspired a part of this next song, We Have a Dream. And I want to tell you about the other person that inspired it. And she's actually someone I met, an incredible human rights activist who is indigenous and Mayan and from Guatemala. And in the year 1992, as you know, America was, unfortunately celebrating that Columbus had come to America 500 years ago. Rigoberta Menchú Tum was up for nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize, put forward by indigenous groups to highlight that the European discovery of the Americas was at the exploitation and the genocide of indigenous peoples. And Ms. Tum, she is extraordinary, and in the midst of her extraordinary work for human rights for her people, she suffered and lost people she dearly loved. So much trauma, so much tragedy that she endured and moved through. And one of the things that she has said that stood out to me, that means even more because she has lost so much and been through so much. She says, "What I treasure most in life is being able to dream. During my most difficult moments and complex situations, I have been able to dream of a more beautiful future." And that is so powerful to me, that in all that she lost and all she endured, that simple, beautiful thing kept her going, that she could imagine and she could dream. So I was really honored to, for a while, work with a group called Peace Jam in Minneapolis. And this really cool group of Minneapolis artists. And so this is from about 10 years ago. And I know I played Put on Your Climbing Shoes at that show. Rigoberta Menchú Tum shared a bit of her story to this gymnasium full of youth who were studying Nobel Peace Prize laureates and their stories and their strategies through Peace Jam and those youth programs. So I just wanted to tell you about that. It's a little part of my story from about 10 years ago. You can see a much younger Heatherlyn there. And yeah, so I hope that you'll sing along. I know some of you have heard this song, but you maybe didn't know all of that backstory. So I put some stuff about Rigoberta Menchú Tum in your show notes so you can learn more about her if you want to. And isn't she adorable? She's so cute. I love these comments about inspiration, and thank you for the comment. Nice playing. And that's right, Denise, we can't just keep waiting for our leaders to start the work. The thing is about politicians, right, is they are public servants, and we actually need to lead them. So, because they need to do what we want them to do. So, anyway. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Me and you. Ooh, ooh. We have a dream for freedom and peace, the whole earth reconciled. So color my world with love. I wanna live with arms open wide. We've heard the sky must be darkest for stars to really shine bright. So we'll press on for redemption draws nigh. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Me and you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Keep the dream alive in your eyes, a clear, bright, vivid vision. Don't let your worries or fears deter your heart's deep hope and devotion. No, 'cause even with complexity, woes of economy, and even recession, we've still got a whole lot of love, each other, and a big imagination. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. We have a dream and we'll make it come true. Me and you. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying, one love. Hear the children crying, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. One love. There is one question I'd really love to ask. One heart. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all humankind just to save his own? Believe me, one love, one heart. So let's get together and feel alright, as it was in the beginning. One love, so shall it be in the end. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Singing, let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One song. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, for there's no hiding place from the Father of creation, singing one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. I'm pleading to humankind, one love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright, singing, let's get together and feel alright. Yes, I mentioned that I wanted to also sing a couple of songs that are from Martin Luther King Jr.'s contemporaries, and I'm also pretty sure that Bob Marley, in the writing of that song, One Love, was inspired by Curtis Mayfield's People Get Ready, which I sang earlier in the set. And if you're just joining us, hey, Greg, nice to see you. And Christy, awesome that you're here. And Linda, what's up? Nice to see you. So if you didn't catch those songs, feel free to go back to the top, obviously, when we're done here. So speaking of one love and the badass love, that's what I call it. Martin Luther King Jr. never called it badass love, but I see it as badass love. I have another quote for you that I put in your show notes that's hyperlinked in the video description if you want to check it out. If you want to take a look at this, go deeper, dive deeper. He said agape, meaning the love which has that divine quality. Agape does not begin by discriminating between worthy and unworthy people or any qualities people possess. It begins by loving others for their sakes. It is an entirely neighbor-regarding concern for others, which discovers the neighbor in every person it meets. Therefore, agape, that love which has the divine quality, I'm adding in parentheses, makes no distinction between friend and enemy. It is directed toward both. If one loves an individual merely on account of his friendliness, he loves him for the sake of the benefits to be gained from the friendship, rather than for the friend's own sake. Consequently, the best way to assure oneself that love is disinterested is to have love for the enemy neighbor from whom you can expect no good in return, but only hostility and persecution. Okay, great. MLK, awesome. That's super easy. I love that challenge. I don't think it's something that we ever master. I think it's something, if we desire to live into that love, which has the divine quality, we practice and we fumble. And, incidentally, perfectionism can be a sign of internalized white supremacy. Even white people have that, that perfectionism. Because, if you've got to live up to this ideal of superiority, then you got to, keep your shit together and stuff, right? So, we get to lean into that. I love that challenge he puts forward for us to lean into that, to learn what that means. Because loving your enemy doesn't mean glossing over the things that we need to hold folks accountable for, right? Because then that wouldn't be loving your neighbor, So it's complex. It's difficult. And it is a worthy practice, a worthy path to follow. And a pretty fun dance when you're not tripping and stumbling around in it, right? Okay, in that spirit, I thought since we're still in January, since I saw my friend Jody post today that today was her new year, with the inauguration, the change of hands and power. She was like, today's my new year. And so I thought I would sing my song for this new year. partly my out of my love and blessing for you all. I don't want that much, keep my shit together. Yeah, I love it. It's good. Yeah, well, I feel like the thing is, honestly, we don't keep our shit together, right? That's the honest thing. And so that's why we need love and grace all the more. Oh, so good. So fun. And then we can use it to fertilize the soil, right? Manure. That is the beautiful thing about the human spirit, because we can take the shit of our lives and turn it into fertilizer in the soil of our lives, and we can churn it, and we can stomp on it, and then we can plant things in it and grow new life. Oh, that's like a metaphor that connects to this next song too. Look at that. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, y'all. I just have this song and our closing song, and I'll invite you to our upcoming live streams. But gosh, thank you for your presence and your love, your comments, your chats. Really appreciate you being part of this community. And, we'll continue to stretch and grow together as this new year carries on. I think that's good. I think we can do that. So, I love it. I love the comments. It's really fun. I'm glad we can have fun. So this, my friends, is for all we say goodbye to. So much we're so ready to say goodbye to, right? That we're putting behind us. And for all we're saying hello to, for all that's gone away, maybe all that we grieve even, 400,000 Americans lost to COVID. And for all that remains and whatever is to come in 2021, for all of that, hand in hand, my friends, we'll learn, we'll live, and we'll love into all we become. Deal? For all we say goodbye to, for all we say hello to, for all that's gone away, all that remains, whatever comes, for all we have been through, strength and wonder for the new year. Hand in hand, my friends, we'll learn, live, and love into all we become. It's a simple turn of time. It could be any other day. Yet it reminds us where the rhythm starts. Not any source, but the beat of your heart. Let me say, my friend, just as you are, you're more than enough. And however you're drawn to grow, I'll be here, I'll lift you up. For all we say goodbye to, for all we say hello to, for all that's gone away, all that remains, whatever comes, for all we have been through, strength and wonder for the new year. Hand in hand, my friends, we'll learn, live, and love into all we become. New beginnings every day, every moment of your life. The light of day grows longer now. New life of spring remains in the ground. Seasons have their times, effortless presence in the flow. Wherever roots go down deep, dark or wild, soon awakening. For all we say goodbye to, for all we say hello to, for all that's gone away, all that remains, whatever comes, for all we have been through, strength and wonder for the new year. Hand in hand, my friends, we'll learn, live, and love into all we become. Hand in hand, my friends, we'll learn, live, and love into all we become. Nice. Thanks, Toby. All right, so please put on your calendars first and third Wednesday evenings, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central. First and third Wednesday evenings for this season is what I am planning on and committing to for live stream shows, plus a monthly matinee, and I have not decided which day or week that will be, but I'm also committing to that. So first and third Wednesday evenings plus a monthly matinee, and then pop-up live streams. So just keep attuned. If you're a patron of mine, I always let you know what I'm up to in the private Facebook group for patrons, and on the I talk about it on my socials all the time. So please do connect if you are not already connected. I would like to tell you about and invite you to our first Story Dwelling edition of the year, our very first Story Dwelling talk show of 2021. Our guest, Dr. Stephanie Rose Spalding, will be our guest. She is a phenomenal woman, founder and president of Truth and Conciliation. You can check out the website. I also mentioned this in the show notes for tonight. So please put that in your calendar for February 17th, at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Please join us for in-depth conversation and live music. I always select a few songs that are inspired by my guest and our topic of conversation. After the insurrection that happened at the White House just 2 weeks ago, I cannot believe it was only 2 weeks ago, but after that happened, and then there were these various forms of calls for unity and healing, which is good and right. You just have to do it well, right? You can't just gloss over the things that happened, right? There needs to be accountability. There needs to be truth and conciliation. So I was thinking about that process that happened in South Africa after apartheid, that very genocidal, and then the striving for segregation, which segregation just leads to more racism, because segregation continues to reaffirm any racial bias that you have. So I was thinking about truth and reconciliation. I put a post out there. I was like, was anyone there in South Africa when that happened? Does anyone know about this process? Anyone studied it? And Mike Martin, who is a Facebook friend of mine and an acquaintance, introduced me to Dr. Stephanie Rose Spalding. And so I checked out her website and extended an invitation to her. And I am so grateful that she is going to talk to us about this process of truth and conciliation, and then invite us to be part of calling for a federal commission for a truth and conciliation process here in the United States. So I'm over the moon that she is going to be our Story Dwelling guest, our very first talk show episode of this year, February 17th. So thank you for listening to me say all of that. And thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for pitching into virtual tip jars if you were able to do a one-time thing. Thanks for being a patron if you are an ongoing supporter. I really appreciate you. And Doug, I see on my phone your lovely comment, beautiful song. For some reason, it doesn't show up on our eCam, so I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I saw it here, so thank you. All right. You probably know this song if you've been hanging around, so feel free to sing it. Send these words of goodness to someone in your heart if you like. Peace ever, joy ever following you. Light ever, love ever radiating through. Hope ever, faith ever strengthening you. Life ever, breath ever nourishing you. And everywhere you go, may you always be home. And everyone you meet be messengers of peace. Let your light shine through, and your heart ever be true. Move in grace and gratitude, and walk in wisdom, sharing all that's good. Peace ever, joy ever following you. Light ever, love ever radiating through. And everywhere you go, may you always be home. And everyone you meet be messengers of peace. May we choose courageously. May we hope defiantly. May we love outrageously, and walk on lightly in humility. May we choose courageously. May we hope defiantly. May we love outrageously, and walk on lightly in humility. Beauty and laughter ever filling you. Friendship, affection surrounding you. Peace and outrageous love to and through every single one of you. See you next time.